All right, fam, we have a shocking injury update today. You're going to want to stick around to see not only who it is that's hurt, how long they could be out, but also what that could mean for what the Mavericks put on the basketball court and potentially what that might mean for trades that happen by the deadline. I am your host, Ethan, the advisor Clayton, and this is Your Mavs, a Dallas Mavericks podcast where all are welcome. Y'all better behave. All right, I'm gonna spill the beans here. You can probably tell by the thumbnail. The shocking injury update today relates to Derek Lively II. All right, and I use the word shocking lightly here, right? Because depending on how close attention you pay to the Dallas Mavericks, this may not be shocking at all. Okay, what may be the better word to describe it would be unexpected. Okay. Our guy has been injury prone since the day he came into the NBA, right? And word on the street is that he was injury prone at Duke. He was injury prone in his high school days. So this is just kind of part of his history. This is part of who he is as a basketball player. It's really, really unfortunate. But this time, the injury is going to keep him sidelined until at least December 3rd, right? That's a really optimistic outlook. I'm going to be a little less optimistic here and say he's going to be out until at least the new year. Okay. And this pertains to his foot injury, which, if you'll remember last season, there was the mismanagement of his ankle injury, and that bled into a foot injury, which led to him needing to have bone spurs medically removed over the summer. And guys, you've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again, not to be a 4-alarm emergency here, but foot injuries are the kiss of death for big men, especially for 7-foot big men like Derek Lively, right? He was tall coming into the league, and then he's continued to grow each summer. And I think over the summer, it was reported that he grew 2 to 3 inches. So he's now anywhere from 7 foot to 7'3". I don't know how they actually measure all of this these days, but anyway, foot injuries are real bad for big men, right? And I got to say, it's becoming really frustrating because obviously whenever he's on the court, he is so impactful. When he is off the court, he is a great locker room guy. He is a energy guy. He's just a real fan favorite. So this is devastating news to get because he has been battling ankle injury so far this season. And then there was a knee sprain or a knee contusion that turned into a knee sprain that kept him out for, I believe, 7 or 8 games. But then this foot injury has come back, right? The foot injury is what worries me the most, again, especially for big men. And it was reported that, again, he'll be out until at least December 3rd. Guys, I don't like the way this looks. I think it's going to be longer than that. And on the one hand, it may be more of a move. Hey, like, we're not super competitive this season, right? There's no use in really pushing Derek Lively past his limits. Right, we want to be super mindful of that he is completely healed up before he returns to the court because we're not really playing or fighting for much at this point. Ironically, slightly biased tweeted out, we are a game and a half back from a play-in spot. Don't let this team get hot, in his words. But I don't know if this is a, let's rest him for later when we're making a playoff push type of move, or if it's a truly, we are not going to be competitive and there's no use in trying to push through these types of things. I'm gonna go more with that second option that, we're being extra cautious because we're not competitive. So what does that mean for the Dallas Mavericks in the meantime? I think first and foremost, this means that it's a lot more likely that Anthony Davis returns to the court on Friday. Okay. Which again, by the way, that's against the Lakers in LA, first time on their court since the trade. So a lot of hype is going to go into that, a lot of storylines, but one of them, Derek Lively will not play. Anthony Davis will probably play. And I think, again, with this announcement that Derek Lively is going to be held out for an extended period of time, AD is a lot more likely to play. All right, we can't go into that game with having, 2 of our main 3 bigs be out. So goodbye, Derek Lively. Hello, Anthony Davis in the starting lineup. That's just kind of speculation at this point, but based off what's being reported by Mark Stein over at the Stein line, all signs are pointing to him returning to the court Friday. Now, what does that mean for the Mavericks moving forward beyond just a lineup shift on Friday? I think it means that with Anthony Davis returning and Derek Lively being on the sideline, that we're really going to be leaning into the Anthony Davis experience, right? And what I mean by that is, as I've said in the past couple episodes, we're really going to be pushing to fix our closeout situations, our fourth quarter clutch moments. Is Anthony Davis going to be the person that moves that needle and makes some of these 2 to 3 point losses winnable games, just simply by the fact of him being on the court? Are we going to rely on him in closeout moments to get, low post looks and potentially get to the free throw line? He's good at those things, right? But in the longer term, I think maybe we've got our eyes on boosting his trade value. Because again, the reports have gone back and forth about whether or not he's going to be a hot commodity on the trade market, or if teams are like, nah, I don't want that big contract on our books, right? Especially for someone who is injury prone. But I think it's time that we start looking at the product again and say, if we're going to start winning games again, I think that means that Kyrie Irving is going to be more likely to come back. And then whenever those two are on the court at the same time, we're certainly going to be a much better looking team. But then B, as we, boost his trade value, is it really to make a trade at the deadline, or is it more, hey, let's put together a winning stretch, boost his value, and we'll reevaluate this conversation next summer? I have no idea. But I think it's going to be more likely that, again, AD returns on Friday. We are very much feeding him the ball to try and really lean into that experience, boost his trade value, whether we're doing that at the trade deadline or next summer. But it's really a move of, if we're going to start winning games again, let's bring Kyrie back into the fold so that we can truly be a competitive basketball team. There's so many implications for all of the moving pieces here. Probably what I'm most excited about, besides the big marquee matchup on Friday, is we're going to start to see a better version of this Dallas Mavericks basketball team. Of course, the best version of our team is with everybody healthy. That includes Derek Lively. That includes Kyrie Irving. But I do think we're going to start seeing a better version of this team, because we're starting to find a little bit more cohesiveness between PJ Washington and Cooper Flagg, kind of in that first half run. Max Christie comes out shooting, whether it's first half or second half. I think we're really starting to find some defined roles for our players on this squad. So the more reps we get with those guys getting comfortable with each other and running this new offense, the better we'll look. And then again, just by pure, you add in an all-star level talent along with those games where we're close and competitive because of our defense, maybe we start to pick up some wins. So I'm rambling a little bit here. There's not a ton of content to go into the weeds on today, but you'll probably notice that I have not really talked about trade ideas or trade opportunities in the last few episodes. I'm doing that on purpose because I get excited about an idea. I get excited about a report that, Chicago Bulls or New York Knicks could be really interested. But then the next day it's like, I don't know that we're going to get all that much traction in the trade market. So really my attention and focus is on, how do we stay competitive like we have been? How do we move that needle up a little bit to where our offense has a little bit more punch to it? And then how do we boost his value for maybe some more long-term moves, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Now that we know for certain that Derek Lively is going to be out for a while, again, probably in my view, at a minimum, he's not going to be back till the new year. And that may align with the timeline of Kyrie Irving returning to the court. But there's a lot of moving pieces here, and I'm excited to see a different version of the Dallas Mavericks as some of these things start to work themselves out. AD returns, Derek Lively returns, Kyrie Irving returns. Come January, we may be a 500 team, or we could be 15, 20 games below. Who the heck knows? Okay. But in the meantime, I think this is a pretty shocking update. It's a pretty unexpected update, because the games that Derek Lively came back, he didn't play all that much. All right. And I didn't see any plays that would have tweaked injuries. I didn't see him limping to the sideline or go to the locker room or anything of that nature. So let me know what you think. I think we're just being super duper cautious because we're not a competitive team and we're making room for AD's return on Friday. I think likely we'll continue to see PJ Washington starting at the 4. I hope we do. All right. This is just me getting a quick hit of copium on a Wednesday morning here. I want to see AD moved to the starting 5 so we can keep PJ in the starting lineup. He's so far really the only one that consistently scores in the first quarter. But that does mean that Daniel Gafford would be shifted to the bench, right? And then, the combination of Musa Cisse and Dwight Powell is kind of our third option at the 5. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. As we get more updates, hopefully on Friday's episode, we'll have like some more concrete information about what to expect on the court against the Lakers. But this is the last time I'll record before probably my favorite holiday of the year. I'm a big Turkey Day guy. So let me just quickly say, Mavs fam, y'all have the happiest of Thanksgiving. Party on. Y'all be good.